privileged to call on stage Mr. Colin Shah, Chairman, GJEPC India, and the founder and managing director of Kama Shakta, one of Asia's largest manufacturers and exporters of diamonds and diamond jewelry. Warm round of applause to welcome him on stage, please.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful evening over here. 7th edition of Jewelers for Hope, and all I can say is I'm sure you all are going to hear into detail about live, love, and laugh. But Deepika ji, round of applause for her for gracing us with this wonderful presence of hers. You know, the minute, and Deepika ji, I must share with you that we kept your coming here a little bit under the wraps. And we let people know, I guess, only maybe 3 days back, because generally the way our event works is, so if you see around you, there are 34 tables, right? And we sell these tables, right? So every table we sell for 3 lakhs and we collect money, and then we are honoring NGO like yourself every year. So we knew that the minute we announce your name, then we won't know who to sell the table to. So we made sure that first we sold the 34 tables and then we announced your name. So again, a round of applause even for our, I guess all the companies who bought these tables, because they bought it without knowing which NGO we are honoring. So, Now, I must say, okay, so coming to, after selling the tables, we did announce your name, and then the frenzy it's created in the last 3 days, with the calls we're getting that, why didn't you tell us? We also wanted a table. We want to be visited. So, incredible and pleasure that you're with us today. So, you saw the video and, as council chairman, it's part of my duty. And I must say a little bit about council. So, 8,000 members and going strong. So, I can share with all of you all as my industry colleagues that it's the first time we've crossed 8,000 members. We used to be 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. This year, we've actually crossed 8,000 members. And the number of exporters which are getting converted from our domestic manufacturers is also the highest ever in the last 1 year. So, again, further to our Prime Minister's vision of making this industry $70 billion, we are at 40. They've given us a target of $45 billion this year. And in the next 3 to 4 years, they want us to be at $70 billion. So the Prime Minister himself, believe it or not, is taking a very active interest in our industry. And he's been, meeting through the PMO, making sure that our sector is on track. And one good news for one of the, upcoming sectors is the new lab-grown policy which is coming, and it's on the anvil. So there are 2-3 things which I must share with you all. The lab-grown policy will be out very soon, which is really going to make sure, because he wants to make sure that this is one industry in which we control end-to-end, from making the machine, to manufacturing the rough, to cutting and polishing the stone, and even making the jewelry export, and so that we have the entire value chain in India. While, and since I have De Beers over here, is while he's very actively interested, in the lab-grown policy, but I must assure you that in his heart, he's told us in every meeting that we must also do whatever is required to protect the natural industry. It's been with us since 50 years, and he wants to ensure that the jobs that it has created and the phenomenal work which, a miner like De Beers and other miners do stays protected. So, in his heart, that industry goes without. He's, of course, wanting to build the lab-grown, but natural, without any doubt, will also be a very important part in our export story. GI and World Gold Council, thank you very much for being wonderful partners every time, for these, for the council events. Som and Shriram, you're always a phone call away. Always. Always. So, I would really, Sachin, of course, you also, but Sachin, Som and Shriram, wonderful what you all do. So, we already briefly talked about all the charity work which council's doing, CSR book, COVID, GJNRF, defense, earthquake, Swasth Ratna, Parichai cards. We've done so many things that it's not possible to lose count. But I can only tell you that, as, being fortunately or unfortunately the chairman in this COVID time, I must say that this is industry, this is an industry which has a complete heart of gold and diamonds, but gold, because believe it or not, in COVID or in any other crisis that we've had in the last 2 years, every, I would say, person in this room and even the many other entrepreneurs outside this room, they've always only been a phone call away. You ask them that there's this cause that we need to support, and whatever you need is always available in terms of resources. And I'm not talking only monetarily, but even in terms of help, volunteers, whether we do blood camps. So again, kudos to this industry. It makes, I think, all of us proud just to be associated with people like y'all, who are not only wanting to grow their business, but is also doing so much for the society at large. Lastly, coming to your cause, Deepika, so when we were going through which cause should we honor this year, and since all of us came out through this COVID, and believe it or not, I guess mental health has been, I would say, a talk of every family dinner, especially because all families got a lot of time this time in the lockdowns. We were all at home, we were reflecting, and in the many hours, we all, I would say, and speaking, I'm not talking just personally about myself, but a lot of other families, that, there was undoubtedly a lot of stress because nobody knew what will happen to their jobs, companies, believe it or not, the highest number of divorces happened, in that particular time. So I guess everyone went through their share of stress. And it's in those times, actually, we were lucky enough, and since all of us had so much time, and I guess you were on TV a lot in those months, so it struck us at that time, and when we were going through this process of which NGO to honor, we thought there's no one better than Deepika ji because of all the wonderful work you've done. And maybe, I guess even you don't realize it, maybe, okay, I must say that with a pinch of salt, how much you've touched other people's lives and hearts with the incredible work that, all of us, and I can say it for myself also, that we're all very proud to accept our own weaknesses in front of the whole world. You always want to show you're better and, things like that. So when you speak about, your own, I guess, illness and how you overcome it and the way you've spread the word, suddenly, I guess, the whole world has realized that that maybe there is an issue which needs addressing, because acceptance was maybe the largest issue. And it's incredible, the data that, and for, I guess, the audience at large, and for some of you all will obviously see it in detail, but there are 1 billion people in this world who, suffer from some kind of mental illness. In India, there are more than, nearly 200 million people, which is incredible, right? And so that's why it's phenomenal what Deepika ji is doing and how she's making a difference to this world. So last and not the least, I would ask you all, because I don't know whether we'll get a chance to do it again, but please give her a standing ovation for being with us today and for the wonderful work that she's doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, she needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. Because the things that she's been doing over the last few years are just so cool and so amazing. She's an actor, a producer, an entrepreneur, and a mental health advocate. We, of course, have seen all of her films. We love all of her films. We all have our own favorites. Shall we do a show of hands? Does anybody want to shout out their favorite? I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to say Piku. Anybody else? This side? Chennai Express, okay. Anybody else? Piku, Om Shanti Om. This is sounding like an auction, like they're going to buy the movies. Bajirao Mastani? Yeah, I heard that also. Ram Leela? Okay, great. So pretty much her entire filmography has been named. See, that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody's got one or the other as their favorite film because all of them have been amazing, and she's been amazing in all of them. And I tell you the one thing that I love seeing, and I don't know if Deepika remembers, but I actually met her first before her career as an actor started. And from that evening in Bangalore Club, at some event when we met, to now, I have seen the city of Bangalore fall in love with her, India fall in love with her, and now as you travel the world and you see all her hoardings all over the world, you say the world has fallen in love with her, and rightfully so, right? In 2018, Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world. She's also on the Time 100 Impact Award for her contribution to film and entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the superstar we have in our midst, Ms. Deepika Padukone. Oh, I think we busted their party by you sitting that side.
It looks like.
आप लोग मेरा solo close-up ले सकते हैं, no problem. That's why Deepika wanted me to sit here.
Over the shoulder.
Oh, they can get. Deepika, thank you so much for being here. You're looking radiant, absolutely, as usual. Can we please give her a big round of applause?
Thank
You're a little stunned right now. You're a little stunned. All right, control yourself. थोड़ा dignity से
Guys,
बोलिए, sir.
please have your soup, really.
मैंने अपने हाथों से बनाया. Please have your soup. I just want to tell you people, we are here for a serious cause. We are all supporting it seriously, but we all don't have to be serious.
Correct.
Yeah, we can have some fun
Yeah.
because we're gonna have some fun as well. Deepika, let's first start with why this began, because you took a journey to speak about your own struggles. That was very brave that you did that, very unusual that you did that. Talk us through that period when you were making that decision to speak so openly about this.
Good evening, everyone. You know, you used two words. You said brave and unusual. But when I spoke out in 2014, I didn't think it was brave or unusual. I just felt that I was being honest. Honest with an experience that changed my life forever. And for anyone who's ever experienced mental illness, it can be, I'm not saying it is, it can be a lonely journey. And I think that's when I realized that speaking up is how I wanted to take that journey forward. It was my learning, probably my calling, where I felt like even if by speaking up, if I was able to impact just one life, the purpose would be served. Where in 2022, I never imagined that today, you know, if you asked me in 2014, would I be sitting here having this conversation with you about the incredible work the foundation has done? No. At that point, it was really about just doing one interview on a national television or one interview just to be able to reach out to as many people as possible and share my experience. And then when I did that, it didn't feel to me like the journey ended there. It felt like just the beginning. It felt like there was so much more to say and so much more to do. And that culminated into the foundation and all of the work that we do today.
Wow. If we just go back, and you do so much excellent work with this, I think like you're saying, if it can impact even one life, of course, when you spoke about it publicly, before that you had to speak about it privately because we all acknowledge it and you reach out to somebody, you know, a friend, whoever, to talk about it. And I think that's the first step that people find very difficult to make. So if you can just talk to people about that, did you face any resistance? Did you face acceptance? What happens in that first step?
So I give all the credit to my mother for recognizing the signs and symptoms because it just happened out of the blue. I was on a career high, everything was going well, so there was no reason or no apparent reason why I should have felt the way I was feeling. But I would break down, you know, for no reason. I would feel there were days when I just didn't want to wake up. I would just sleep because sleep for me was an escape. I was suicidal at times. And so having to deal with all of that, and you know, when my parents live in Bangalore, and every time they sort of visited me, even now when they visit me, I always put on a brave front, like everything is okay, and you know, you always want to show your parents that you're fine, you know. And so I was doing one of those things of like, I'm fine, until, you know, they were leaving one day, they were going back to Bangalore, and I broke down, and my mother asked me the usual hygiene questions like, is it a boyfriend? Is it someone at work? Has something happened? And I just didn't have answers. It was none of these things. And it just came from a really empty, hollow place. And she knew instantly. And I think that for me was God sent. And I really hope, and I think that's one of the reasons why I set up the foundation, for us to be able to create that awareness, to be sensitive to the people around us, to look around us. If someone's feeling low, don't just pat them on the back and say, hey, you know what, it's going to be okay, or, you know, hey, you'll be fine. Or just listen to this music or play some upbeat music and think that everything's going to be okay. If you feel, and this is for everyone in this room, if you feel for a prolonged period of time, which is more than 3 weeks, if you feel a feeling of low or sadness, it is recommended that you see a psychiatrist or at least see a counselor. And my theory is always, I'd rather be overcautious than not. You know, it's the same way when you have, you know, when you have a stomach bug, or, you know, you go and see a general practitioner. You can also go and see a general practitioner. That's one of the things that we do. We're capacity building for our country, because we do not have enough mental health professionals to serve the 1.3, 1.4 billion people. So one of the things that we do is capacity building by educating general practitioners. So I'd say don't ignore the signs and symptoms. Don't ignore when someone's telling you they're feeling low or not feeling okay. Don't sort of brush it off by saying it's just a one-off. So coming back to this, yes, it's my mother who recognized that I needed help. I spoke to a counselor who I knew. Again, I was fortunate to have known someone within our family circle. And from my voice, she could tell that I needed professional help. And then the journey went on. I was put on to a psychiatrist, medication. That sort of went back and forth for many months. I was resistant to that because there was so much stigma attached, A, to mental illness, B, to, you always have these sort of ideas that you don't want to take medication to do with the mind and with the brain, and you're going to lose control. And so that went on for a couple of months until I finally started taking medication and I started feeling better and so on. So yes, it was the immediate people around me knew, but at that point I wasn't ready to tell very many people. It's after I recovered, after many, many months, when I was sitting back and just thinking about this experience that I'd been through, that I felt like I wanted to share my journey with the world.
And through this entire period, I think we can give a round of applause for that, please, everyone. Through this entire period, you're getting up every morning and you're still having to put on the war paint and the smiles for the world, because you've got to act in movies, you've got to sell movies, you've got to sell products, you're on this high. Geez, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was that difficulty level?
Oh, very difficult.
11?
Very difficult. Yeah, I mean, I can't even put a number to it. To just have to wake up every morning and to breathe, to eat, to just do the basics was a struggle. So you can imagine having to put myself out there, be at events, engage with people, perform. Obviously took a lot.
So I'm thinking the vision and the mission of the foundation, as you have said, from the time you started it to now, it's obviously grown so much. So what is the vision and the mission now of the foundation at this moment?
It is to give hope, because like I said earlier, it can be a lonely journey. And we're here to say you are not alone. We're here to say we're in this together. When I say we, I mean us, those who experience mental illness, our caregivers, because we believe that they're an equally important part of this journey, and society and community at large. And so giving hope to every person experiencing stress, anxiety, and depression, and to let you know that we're not alone. And it stemmed from the one line, which was, you know, when I put my mind to it, I said, I don't want even one life to be lost because of mental illness.
Wow, beautiful. Tell me, there obviously must be a lot of fulfilling moments that happen when you hear people's stories about the foundation has helped them. Can you recall any, like some fulfilling moments or times when you felt great peace almost that you did this, that you started this, and it's truly helping people?
Every day. There's not a day that goes by when a person doesn't come up to me and talk about an interview that I did, or you know, something that they read or something that they saw that that prompted them to seek help, or encouraged them to tell someone they know to seek help, that they felt better, that they're on the journey to recovery. And each one of us in the foundation experience that on a daily basis. There's somebody or the other who'll always acknowledge the work that we've done. And that for us is the most fulfilling part. You know, we can have numbers on a slide and talk about how many lives we want to impact in the next 5 or 10 years. Those are all long-term goals. But it is those everyday moments when you meet someone, when they say we saw an interview, or, you know, we saw this post on social media, or, you know, there was this one kid who came and said, I couldn't explain to my parents, I wanted to seek help, but I couldn't explain to my parents what I was going through. And I made them sit down and watch your interview. And after they watched your interview, they understood what I was going through. And they allowed me to go and see a psychiatrist. Those are the moments we live for.
That's absolutely beautiful. That really is. It's, okay, we need to, I'm going to ask you a few questions that I know the crowd really wants to ask you. And this is a question that I know she's been asked 100 times. And that's why I'm going to change the question.
My most favorite movie?
No.
Okay.
It's the same vein it is.
Okay.
It's like, they're like, if you were not an actor, what would you be? So I've changed it to, if you were not a badminton player, what would you be? Because that means you can't say badminton player.
But badminton would not have been my answer.
Oh, we have something new coming.
Yeah.
So let's just, guys, just rewind, just delete. Let's do a little Christopher Nolan here. Just delete that. So Deepika, the question is, if you were not an actor, what would you be?
I would have probably been an interior designer. Yeah, that's something I've always been very, very passionate
There's somebody
about.
who's just bought a new apartment who's very excited. It's like, you get blue curtain.
I'm happy to render free services. That's how passionate I am about interior design. I've always been, even as a kid. And at one point, I did have this plan to go to like some like design school abroad. Wow. And yeah.
Can I just collectively say we are very happy you didn't make that decision? We are very happy that you
But I channelize my energies now differently. Like I do up the home and I keep changing things around and I have fun with it.
Please do all those things, but don't stop doing films ever, right? So that's all. We are all very selfish people. We only care about that. Okay, I was not going to ask you your favorite film, but now I feel like we should ask her, no? Favorite character? Can we ask favorite character? Because film becomes like, oh no, you said something about the director and about the other. So favorite
It boils
character.
down to the same thing. It's like, oh, she chose this character over that character.
Okay, so I'll make it a very harmless, innocuous question. The favorite character you enjoyed playing?
I'd have to say it's very difficult though. I mean, it's like saying choose this child over that child. But if I really had to choose, and you guys are putting me in the spot, but I'd say Piku.
Yeah.
It was very special. There was something very, very special about the energy on that movie. And I feel like my sister and I are at that age now where we feel like we're Piku.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know, something about Piku is very, very special. And that's one of the movies that sort of keep coming up in conversation when I talk to people. They're like, we really like that movie, or like someone's been through that experience or going through that experience, or lost a parent. And so there's a lot of that, I feel like. Maybe it's just the stage of life that I'm at now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be my most favorite.
But just on that film, 1 second, how daunting was it? Because these are two experienced, like, powerhouses, right? And first I must say, you held your own against them. You were absolutely fantastic in that film. Whoever agrees, please give a round of applause because you were fantastic. Like,
Koi shak?
koi nahi. Koi bhi nahi. How was it though? Did it get easier through the days or?
No, I mean, like you said, I was just aware of the fact that I was going to be opposite these two incredible people. But I think what makes for great collaboration is when you're not competing with the, with your co-stars. You're really genuinely invested in telling a good story. And I think that's what we were there to do. I don't think Irfan was trying to be one up on Mr. Bachchan or he was trying to be one up on anyone. It's just, it was a beautiful collaborative process, and I think we were all just invested in giving our best to the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was aware before I got into this that I was going to be with two of these most incredible actors. But that's that. I mean, when the camera's rolling, I'm not thinking of Mr. Bachchan. I'm thinking of the character that I'm opposite.
Yeah. I have to say that there were 3 master musicians at play, and it was a beautiful symphony that came out. So that was fantastic. Let's talk about jewelry because that's core competence for a lot of people in this room. So do you remember, okay, it's a 2-part question. First is, when you were a child, do you remember the piece of jewelry that you really wanted and you said, oh, when I make money or when I grow up, this is the first piece of jewelry I'll get?
For me, it's always been more sentimental and emotional than sort of looking at a hoarding or, putting my finger on something and saying, this is what I want. So there were definitely pieces of jewelry, and my sister and I were discussing it this morning. There were definitely pieces of jewelry in our mother's locker that I had my eyes on. And I still have my eyes on
Does
them.
your sister know about this?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is I think our taste in that sense is slightly different. So that's the good thing. So I know that like eventually when the jewelry gets split between the two of us, I don't think we'll be scrambling and fighting. But yeah, there were definitely like pieces that as a young girl, you see your mother getting ready, going out, and she takes out her jewelry, she's deciding what to wear. And as a young girl, you're like, oh, that's beautiful. I hope I get that. Or I hope I get to wear that. Forget, owning it, but I hope I get to wear that someday. So definitely pieces like that. And I think being a South Indian, definitely a lot of traditional South Indian craft in the jewelry, which is temple jewelry, which I absolutely love. That's very, very different from, say, jewelry from any other part of the world. And that's something I really enjoy wearing as well.
And do you remember the first piece of jewelry you bought when you started earning money?
Yes, I bought myself a pair of solitaires. Small.
Ah, look at that. That's the diamond table.
Very small, large for me at that point. But yes, I remember buying myself a pair of solitaires.
Fantastic. Okay, before we wind up, I think people here want to know one thing about you that nobody knows. Give us something. Give us like one thing, something. Like you drink rasam straight from the katori or something. Just like we need something.
I drink rasam like this.
Oh, Lord.
See, that I love South Indian food and rasam rice, I'm sure everybody knows that. I revealed the fact that if I was not an actor or a badminton player, I'd love to be an interior designer. That I'm OCD, does anyone know that? Okay.
Somebody said, yeah, I am.
Yes, we know.
Somebody said, I am. Oh, you know that. Are you as well? Are you? No, you're not. Are you sure? Put her bag on the table. Let's see. Take it away from. Oh, she did. Well done.
That I'm very punctual. Does anyone know that? I'm punctual. Okay,
Oh, they don't
time
know.
management. Time management.
Time management.
Okay, I'm great with multitasking. I'm very good with time management, and my gut instinct is something I protect.
These are all nice, cool things she's saying.
Okay,
yeah.
fine. I'm a
We
great.
were-
Okay, wait.
We were hoping for like a
Wait,
something
wait,
which
wait,
makes
wait,
you more
wait.
human like us.
Do I win a hamper or no for this answer of mine?
There's no.
Okay, this bottle
I'll
of
give you a
water.
bottle of water. Yeah.
I'm a great baker. I bake really well.
Okay, now how do I argue with perfection, right? Unfortunately, we can't find any imperfection in this perfection.
Tell me.
Like, are you clumsy? Like, do you drop food when you eat?
Oh yeah, all the time. I was known for this.
Yeah?
Like when I was small, and now she's going to start laughing. We never remembered restaurants based on, or my family never remembered restaurants based on the name of the restaurant. It was the restaurant where Deepika dropped milkshake, the restaurant where Deepika dropped a fork, the restaurant where she spilled sweet corn soup on herself. So that's how we remembered restaurant names.
Nice. And I think that's how those restaurants are now advertising in Bangalore as well. This is where Deepika spilled soup, so please come and have some. Ladies and gentlemen, Deepika Padukone, a big round of applause, please. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Can we please have a big round of applause? Come on, you can be a little more generous in the applause, everybody. Didn't even make it till here. All right, I'd like to request Mr. Colin Shah, Chairman GJEPC, to please come up on stage. To join him, Mr. Sachin Jain, MD De Beers India, Mr. Somasundaram PR, Regional CEO of India World Gold Council, Mr. Sriram Natarajan, Managing Director GIA, on stage for the check presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is also all of you. Thank you so much for your time, your donations. Thank you so much for your generosity towards the foundation. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Could I request Mr. Colin to please stay back on stage? Thank you to the rest of the dignitaries. Thank you so much. I'd also like to call a few more dignitaries on stage, please. Mr. Milan Choksi, we could have you on stage. Mr. Shailesh Sangani, Mr. Mansukh Kothari, Mr. Sabyasachi Ray, Mr. Ajesh Mehta, Mr. Ram Babu Gupta, Mr. Suvankar Sen, Mr. Ashok Gajera, Mr. Ashok Seth. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Can we have Deepika's mic, please?
I do want to thank the council so much, and each and every one of you who's contributed to make this happen. And your contribution is most certainly going to impact millions of lives. So thank you so much.
A big thank you to Ms. Deepika Padukone for gracing this evening with her presence. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. Can we get the team from GJEPC on stage for a picture, please? Or have we lost most of them? I think we've lost most of them. Yeah. Is the team from GJEPC here? All right, so we'll just, are they here? Or we'll just get them on stage later for a picture? Yeah? All right, great. So we'll collect everybody and get them on stage later. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We'll let you carry on and enjoy your dinner. Please enjoy all the courses that I have made personally. So please enjoy them. I'm Gaurav Kapoor. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. Thank you so much and have a great evening. Thank you. Oh no, I'm not done yet. Okay, we have to welcome actually your entertainment for the evening. I mean, further entertainment, because I think I was quite entertaining as well. But Bonnie Michael D'Souza and the band Bonaventures, for 4 decades, they've been enthralling and entertaining people all over the world. Solo piano and keyboard, Bonnie Michael D'Souza, who's going to be providing us music for this evening. So, thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening. Goodbye.